Hello and welcome back to my channel. We're going to rejoin the characters. They've had a bit of a debacle. Probably our first instance where we've actually had some damage taken. But Tristan slipped trying to scrabble up the chimney up to level up one level, it says, to level 0. Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate accident. We managed to find a mechanic in the player's handbook that determined how much damage he took. We calculated the grand total of 3 points of damage, so we now have a ready reckoner here to say that he has 6 hit points left. Luckily, he has very handsome total of 9 hit points to start with, so he has plenty to spare. However, it has sent shockwaves through the party. This is their first major setback in terms of physical injury, and Tristan is he's rubbing his head and soothing his scratched arms and legs. He's taken a bit of a fall. Now remember, we do have our cleric Dagobert who can administer the spell of choice, which is the cure light wounds, but I don't think it really calls for that just now, because I don't think he's suffered enough damage, and a hit point total of 6. I don't think he's too compromised. Potentially we could live to regret this. You've heard it here, but I think we can maybe just take that chance just now. There was just before we carry on with our dungeon expedition, there is one area that I was working on, and I wanted to show you in relation to the inn mechanic. Now if we just go back to our overall sheet, we have this event check every day, and what I hadn't done was actually have some detailed breakdowns. So remember, we had this interesting split of event category, and we have a 1 in 6 chance check daily of a category happening, where we roll a further 1d6. So say we get a 1 for Monday, we'd roll another 1d6, and on a 1 it would be an interaction, a 2 a rumour, a 3 a specific incident, a 4 a local happening, a 5 an external event, and 6 a corruption factor check. Now I went away and I had some ideas anyhow, and what I did was just expand on that, and I found it didn't really take too long. I already had a lot of things up in my head, and I was kind of roughly using a lot of that type of stuff already. I just formalized it now in some notes. So let's have, if we rolled a 1, the interactions, I'll just give you a flavor of what I've got. So you could have a chance interaction. So this occurs between the player characters and one randomly determined resident, and you'd have no modifiers to the reaction. Interpret results as formal interaction with a reaction roll. So basically this is like a chance interaction, a bit like what we were having in the Green Dragon on the first night, and then you just have a reaction roll with no modifiers from this. But obviously we'd have the characters and ones to do with race and all that good stuff. The next one, friction develops over, and then I have a subtable to see what we actually have friction over. Check randomly between 2 residents on the matrix with -10 on reaction score, no other modifier. So this is something maybe between 2 residents. Now, if we just rolled randomly on our table, on our matrix, I've lost my matrix. Where's my point in the matrix? Currently we'd roll a d10 and just select. So I could, the player characters could be included in that. In that case, what we do is escalate it and include modifiers for the player characters. But otherwise, it's just a straightforward interaction between 2 individuals, and we just take almost like the raw score and interpret it. Dispute breaks out over, and again, C subtable, and again, it's more or less the same, but a -20, because that's a bit more important. Instead of friction, we've got a dispute. And let's just see what this subtable talks about. We can actually be specific and see what the friction and the dispute's over. So the interaction subtable, we've got conflicts to do with rivalry between parties, individuals developing, jealousy, envy of character, dislike of character, clash of values, alignment differences, perceived slight, lack of respect, treated poorly. Now, obviously, we can, I'll choose one of them, but these are kind of just the categories that you determine on a D10. Misunderstanding during a conversation, misread intention, ancient antipathy, hatred, grudge, racism, cultural clash. That's quite a serious thing. That could be quite nasty. Social, class differences, feelings of superiority or inferiority, desire for something the character possesses, and then we could randomly determine that. Now you'll notice a lot of these you have to think. So these are just kind of prompts to interpretation, and almost it makes it a bit more simple. It's like having that on the reaction. Have we got the reaction table? That reaction table that we had. Where is my reaction table? I thought I kept the reactions. Oh, here we go. Yeah, reaction results, and we've got all these different examples. And I thought, I'll go along and beef these up a bit. So I've expanded this a wee bit. So, on certain, I've now got, I think we're doing down to guided, but I've got unsettled and unsure now. Under hostile, I've got a bit more bellicose, insulting, combative, vicious, malevolent. Ooh, that doesn't sound too good, does it? And a lot more for the neutral. Neutral I've really gone to town with. I've got no discernible reaction, which we had before, but I've now got impartial, unbiased, objective, enigmatic, inscrutable, unreadable, impossible to interpret. All kind of variations on the theme. Kind of synonyms really of the same thing. Okay, so let's get back to. I don't want to go through into detail for everything, but just to give you an idea of what these tables look like and how this could probably generate quite a bit of, a dynamic green dragon experience. Alliance sought with characters by one randomly determined resident. Exchange sought with characters by one randomly determined resident. Information or item desired. Competition develops between two discrete parties or individuals in the end. Role reaction and interpret results in context of rivalry, showmanship, maintaining status, save and face, or general adventure prerogatives. Conflict develops. Now this is the fun bit, because I said Green Dragon starting settlement should be a safe space. But this is the where we might have a wee bit of danger, because if we ever roll this, a conflict develops between two parties or individuals. Roll reaction and interpret. This could result in the classic in brawl and suck in other innocent bystanders. Mini game potential. I've only got a whole series of videos if we ever come to that, and that could be quite a bit of fun. And we could definitely if the place is full of people as if they were in a Monty Python film, which I was kind of going on about the fact that they're all kind of British, but maybe very quirky British people. There could be quite a bit of fun generated. We actually had, I remember when we played, I don't know if it was an edition of White Dwarf, it had an in-brawl scenario, and you didn't have any, like, you had things like pots and pans and rolling pins and anything that came to hand, bashing people over the head with chairs, and there was kind of rules for that, and it was great fun. Because you didn't have your +5 Holy Avenger or anything like that. It was the bog standards. I've ripped a leg off the chair, and I'm using that to batter this other poor inoccupant over the head. So we could have a bit of fun there. Cooperation design between two residents of Matrix. Trade sought check random move to and also this is something to get maybe a bit of adventure going, and bring in the important NPCs. So you know the NPCs we've generated in the settlement. So important NPC, not a resident of the inn, of the settlement, wants to speak with character and act as a patron for a specific task. Roll on mission table for subject and then treat as formal interaction with a reaction roll to determine success of negotiation. Apply plus 20% to reaction. So, you know, we can seed an adventure there. You know, it might be quite sparse, the type of opportunities arising. So this helps kickstart it, the more opportunities, but not like laying it on a plate. You know, this is going to be a difficult thing. First of all, we've got to get a 1 in 6, then we've got to get an event that's an interaction, and then we've got to get a 10. So, you know, it's not going to happen like every other time. On the if we draw the 2 on our overall master category table, we would get what's called a rumour. So we have a rumour type and we roll a d8. This goes over the page. And the rumour types are place of mystery. So generate a place of mystery per the adventure generator with a truth. I've called this a truth index, 1 to 10. So there's basically a scale of 1 to 10, but everything has its own. You know, there's the performance index, the performance metric for the inn, for the troubadours playing away. There's now a truth index. So requiring confirmation, we might have to go to Rumix and say, this information about this place, is there any kind of basis to it? And he'll go, let me do a wee bit of research here and come back to you. And a day or two later, or whatever metric we're using, you'll say, well, based on the we calculated the truth index. So say it's 5, that's a 50% chance. And he'll come back, oh, actually, I roll 49%, and no, he wouldn't say it like that, but yeah, that's the kind of thing that we would be doing. Then an NPC, truth index requires investigation about some hidden fact about the individual, randomly selected from pool. To get ideas, roll on what are they doing table for the starting end. Remember, what are they doing, like have they got a pet or something like that. You know, that just to give us some ideas of what the secret of that person is. Monster. Roll a random monster using the terrain type determined in the random selection of adjacent hexes. So we just look at the hexes roundabout and randomly select them, and then roll a random monster, and then we'll have a monster motivation guide about what doing table in the encounter sections. Again, I've got one for the monsters that I can show you, and again, it's a truth index. So this is the kind of famous rampaging monster, maybe a dragon or something. It's going crazy in mountains to the north or something. You know, that's maybe quite a good example. But it could be because it's random, it could be just a bunch of halflings that are kind of that have been discovered, you know, just in this hidden little valley or something like that. You know, it could be something quite benign. Artifact. Roll random magical treasure with truth index 1 to 10, requires investigation about background, location, guardian, etc. So, you know, we bring in a magic item into the game. Region. Rumours about precious resources, potential enemies or possible allies living. Location of conspiratorial forces, strange terrain features, magical influences, natural disasters. Again, this could just give it generating rumours about a region. So we'd select a hex. Say, let's get to this. Say we do a random selection and we have this hex here, these woods, the old woods and the old forest, and we work out, is there any of these things going on? Is this the location of one of the conspiratorial forces? You know, does the Lich live there? I doubt it. But yeah, is there something going on? And location of conspiratorial forces would probably be something out with this initial area. But who knows? Who knows? It could be here, say for example. You know, maybe that's where a Lich lives, or the vampire lord, or, you know, some terrible, you know, that evil sorceress. You know, they could be right on our doorstep. My goodness, we've got something to deal with then. Um, what else have I got? Conspiracy. So this gets the conspiracy bit, the conspiratorial forces and their plans, and we can find out more about that and push that story forward. So this gives us an avenue to do that. One of the thread requires follow-up to give characters important information about a specific thread and opportunity to progress that particular storyline. So a bit like the conspiracy thing, we can push that forward. And then lore. Final one. Needs consultation to prove the accuracy of this information and whether it progresses an element of world lore. And I thought as an idea we could use the NPC interests as a guide to topic or magic items or existing pool of lore items. So remember that in the Dungeon Master's Guide there's this thing here at the end, which is the all these interests. For Marston we actually rolled cooking. Cooking is the interests, this one here, and we got cooking, foods and preparations, wasn't it? But we could roll this. Say it was history at some historical event that we're talking about, or legends. Horticulture, that would be, that'd be interesting. You'd have to come up with a little story about it, but just to kind of seed it. And then we move on to if we'd roll a 3, it's a specific incident. And these are the type of things that we would have. You're summoned to see the Lord or important NPC in the settlement, subject to theft, witness a crime. What else have I got? Beggar, vagrant wants help, exposed to disease. We get a disease check then. Approached by citizen, determined on men general table. And then to get ideas on motivation, roll on what are they doing table for starting in. Again, just as a sort of guideline. And then we have if we'd rolled a 4, we get a local happening, and these tends to be, this is where we have the importance. Remember the 1d10 for both, just the importance of scale to say how important these things are. We've got things like a tournament, a festival, which is feasting and dancing, a commemoration of an historic event, battle, hero, that type of stuff. A religious day, procession, maybe a pilgrimage going on. In-game night, yay, everyone likes in-game night. A troop of entertainers arrive. So we might have a rival, we might have the battle of the bands type thing in the Green Dragon. Maybe these are all jugglers and they juggle knives and they start throwing them at the troubadours. Who knows? Council meeting convened, a marriage ceremony. And again, the marriage could be based on the importance on the roll of 1d10. So 1 maybe just a local girl, a local peasant girl, but maybe a 10 is like a rich merchant's daughter or something. Funeral, again 1 to 10 we could do, and then the public punishment. And we start on the stocks. We have a bit of pillory. It goes up to whipping. There's hanging, and then there's burning for heretics. So on a scale of 1 to 10, we'll be able to determine what that is. But again, this isn't going to happen like every day of the week. These are quite rare occurrences because it's a 1 in 6 chance anyhow before you even get onto these tables. And then we have our favourite external events table, which I've just lifted, and I would interpret them. Roll 1d10 for magnitude or scale. So economic, I think I said the other day that I wouldn't think that these are earth-shattering events. I'll probably modify them to be a bit more toned down, because we've already had our exposure to earth-shattering, where we had the brigands, we had the besieged by enemies, recently attacked, and we did was it recently attacked or besieged by enemies? It was besieged by enemies, and it was the brigands that we generated. And I thought, yes, that's probably on a Richter scale of 10, but these will be a bit more toned down. Unless we do roll a 10, and then I've got to try and think, internal class strife revolution, what exactly is that going on here? There is something, but it's maybe not on the highest level, on DEFCON 1 or something. It's maybe a kind of 5 or something. And then finally, table 6, corruption factor checks, chance of corruption spawning in a resident NPC. So really, they're quite simple. They're next resident generated. There is a 1 in 10 chance of corruption spawning. An existing resident, there is a 1 in 10, and then we go up the ante a bit. Next resident, 2 in 10. Existing resident, 2 in 10. So this next resident would be like another adventurer coming to visit, an arrival, or maybe some other character that we generate. Progress the conspiracy thread, minor escalation. So this is where the conspiracy thread can be pushed along. So I might actually almost like draw the conspiracy thread out and have it as a separate line, because there are a few of these events that seem to be pushing that narrative. And then progress the conspiracy thread, major development. So there's plenty of room there to I think by demonstrating that, I can show you that this all-round matrix, and it might seem a bit on boring side, but if you take into fact all the different cogs and wheels and gears turning and all interacting and firing off each other, something is going to happen every week. It might not be very much, or it might be quite earth-shattering, but something is going to emanate, and it's going to be layer upon layer upon layer, and I'll keep on working on it. So it'll be like conducting an orchestra with lots of different musical instruments, and actually the orchestra is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's turning into this amazing symphony. Right. I'm not going to have any more analogies. I think that's quite enough. And let's get back to the adventuring, because I don't have too much time this afternoon, and I want to try and see how far we can get in Dunmorna. So we left Tristan with a bit of a sore head. He'd fallen back down the chute. He's had time to recover. We've taken a turn to do that. We've still got 2 rounds where we have been tramping around to get there. So he says, yeah, I think I'm okay just now. I feel a bit better. I'm going to have another shot at trying to get up. This time I'll try and be as careful as possible. So they say, well, yeah, just be careful, Tristan. Is there anything you could do to maybe help you? And he said, I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm trying to rely on my skill. I could always be really cautious and tie myself with a rope, but that could take a bit of time. They say, well, actually, Tristan, we don't want you to have any more falls. Why don't you go on a really cautious route? So I would say that if he does the bit with the iron spikes, and say he ties a rope around him, and he has the iron spikes at maybe at 10 feet. So he does it at 10 feet, and then he's about to do it at another 10 feet, and he has this check. That might mitigate some of his fall. Okay, so I think that sounds fair. So I'll get my percentage dice. Here we go. And it will be an 85% chance. So 33, hooray for Tristan. He makes it. He's cautious. Maybe adds another, let's say that whole operation takes a bit longer, and we take, what turns 10 minutes? Maybe that takes about 5 minutes to do. So let's put on another 5. So that goes up to 7. So Tristan's at the top. He throws the rope down. The rest of the characters clamber up. We're up on level 0, or ground level, what we say in the UK. And we use this amazing three-dimensional trick, and we're now on this sheet. So we go back into here. Now, room 13, according to our key, was, we had discovered that on our Adventure 2, and room 13 was empty. It was a chamber, and there was a passage out. So we found nothing else there, and it was against the end of the world, so we couldn't go any further. There's a short corridor. We go into this. This was one of our largest rooms that we had to do, because it took ages for Lindra's to map, and that was 14, and that was a 40 by 60 chamber, empty, with 3 passages out. Now remember, this passage down here, this led us down to this room, 15, which was the chamber with the skeletons. And inside I have secret doors to be found. So this has a chance of secret doors on every wall to be found. So they just gutted this place. They did a bit of mapping. They searched it for treasure. They made sure that there was anything that, you know, they had to pick up. I think the electrum pieces, they were scattered all over the floor. The potions were in like heaps of rubble and stuff. And then they found this sword under it, probably some maybe bits of iron or, you know, bits of armor. And they saw this glowing sword, and they thought, terrific, we've really hit the jackpot here. But there are secret doors in here. Now they haven't investigated down here, which has got a passage. So I would say that what they want to do is probably just move along here carefully, re-enter this room, which was empty, and then maybe just look down all three passages again. They're not going to bother with this one for the time being, because they've already been down here. They haven't revisited the skeleton room yet, so they haven't got that wee tingly, there's a secret door here. So we've got that to come back to. Maybe what we need to do is just do these things. So I would say that joins up. So these corridors join up. And the question is, I would say that that's more likely to continue. So I will do that, we will do, say, another 30 feet there. Or what would it be? What would that be? Yeah. Because what we did here was, I think we did a periodic check, didn't we? We did a periodic check here, and it said a 30-foot corridor. So we should really do a periodic check here. So if we decide to come down here, we do a periodic check here. Yes, that would be the best idea, and not assume that it continues with a corridor. So periodic check. Let's get back. We've got to get the old original. Now this is different because now we can do this here, because we can do a periodic check. In fact, I have to decipher this, because remember I made a bit of a mistake here, and this is hence the fact we've got this. And until we came here, I discovered, I thought, oh no, we're actually on a different level. And I think I've done a periodic check already. So because this relates to level 1, I would say I would take one of them away, level 1, if I can find my eraser. My friend said I shouldn't use the term rubber in, because that's what we call these in the UK. But I think it has a different connotation, the word rubber in the United States. And as a lot of my audience are from the United States, I'm going to call it eraser. I'm actually going to make, because usually I use the British term, like we spell colour and all that kind of stuff. And I think, well, I'll just stick with the British stuff. And like Generation Z, we call it, ZZ. It's not Z. I don't use Z. But I think in this case, because there are connotations, I'm going to use eraser for that. But I've got to take a periodic check off that, because that related to this. So periodic check for here, I would say, is 1 already in the bank. So we'll just put that there. And in a long-winded way, I have got to make a periodic check. As the characters progress down this corridor, they have to map it, because they haven't mapped it already. So that's going to take, they map 90, so that will take a third of a turn. So that's, say that's going to be three more rounds. So that gets us up to a nice 1, to map down there, and then we do a periodic check. So I get my, yes, periodic check on our first periodic check on our new Dungeon Master's Guide. The son of the original, he has handed on the baton to a younger, not better model, just the same, much the same as the original, who hasn't got any post-it notes. Oh, that was quite easy to find, so that's quite good. I like that. So let's do a periodic check on this. So we'll do a 1d20. So a periodic check. We have a 17. Ooh, my goodness. Stairs. Stairs, C table 6. Okay. So, just to recap, once we get along to the end of this, we have stairs. So, where does this go? Does this also meet with the so they might converge on a staircase? That's interesting, isn't it? You know, what's the point? Well, let's see what we get in this particular square here. So table 6. Table 6. That's on this page. Table 6 stairs. We have to roll a d20. 9. Up. Dead end. 1 in 6 chance to shoot down 2 levels. Oh. Oh dear. Right. So I presume that what that means is we get stairs that ascend and then they come to a dead end. But there's also a chance that we could have a chute. Now, is this chute, is this just a chute, like a chimney or something? Or is this going to be like one of these chutes, cannot be ascended in any manner type chutes? Okay, right. Let's follow the logic. So staircase, I'm going to say would go up 30 feet. So this staircase here starts here, and now let's do another 20. Another 20 here. How would we think about this? Shoot. Doesn't sound like a malign shoot. Whereas that one in the Tricks and Traps was, because it said you couldn't ascend it. Oh, I've just made that weird. This should be like a little staircase, shouldn't it? I'll get my Dungeon Master's Guide out of the way. A dice tray. This is the bit where we do. This will take you back to when we were mapping away. Lindra's doing his staircase. It gives us maybe a bit of a chance to discuss what this chute is. Well, there's a 1 in 6 chance. Otherwise, it's a dead end. So why would there be a staircase up to a dead end? You know, this is Dungeons and Dragons. You know, we shouldn't ask these higher questions. We'll just deal with the D20s we're given. And this is just a case where the gods have decided. So there's a dead end here, or is there? So I would say the characters, they have to do to map up those stairs. And this, I would say, let's just say, for sake of argument, this passage, there's a little staircase that comes up that joins these stairs, and it kind of joins in. I think that's the only way that works. And we see this staircase head back towards where our skeletons, our original skeletons were. I think let's see how long this takes. That'll be another three turns to do the mapping, and then the moment of truth, because they come to the end here and they start feeling on the wall. And is it the way that it's phrased? Is it should I already determine it's a 1 in 6 chance there is a chute that is there, or is this like a trap? It's not disguised as a trap. Maybe let's just have a look at the text once more. I'm sorry to be so kind of pedantic about it, but I think it's probably quite important just in our heads just to think what exactly this actually means. So it said stairs, and it said up. So you had before it was up 1 level, so up, dead end. 1 in 6 chance to shoot down. To shoot down to, yes. So you would shoot down. So I can understand this now. It appears to be up to dead end, but as soon as you maybe walk on it, there's a 1 in 6 chance it shoots down 2 levels. So are the characters, this is dangerous, are the characters as they walk up here and start mapping, there's a 1 in 6 chance, 1 in 6, this could be the end, this could be the end of the chaps. There's a 1 in 6 chance that they are going to be shooting down into 2 levels into the, and then I really have to think on my feet. Oh no. Oh dear, they shoot down. Okay, right, we're gonna have to have a bit of a think now. This is gonna, if this shoots down 2 levels, 1 level gets us down to level 1. It's definitely not turning out to be their day, is it, just now? Where is the other one? Where is the other sheet? I might have to leave it on a cliffhanger. So one chute will go down. Yeah, I did all this staircase as well. What a shame. I tell you what, let's just keep the staircase, and the staircase goes up. But then instead of a wall, there's a chute, and maybe there's a chance that they fall down, and they've fallen for it. Yes, I think that's the way to interpret it. And what they've done is this chute has fallen, or is it? Let's say, for sake of argument, they are mapping the way up here, and they get to this, and it appears to be a dead end, and it is a dead end, and this is like a kind of false floor, and it gives way, and it turns into a chute that goes down, down 2 levels, and they slide down this chute, 60 feet. But in the trap, it said you couldn't ascend it. But maybe there's a chance. Yeah, this is where Tristan can come in, and he could try to climb up. Okay, good. And by chute, I would say a chute is something, if you think of a chute on like a slide, it's not going to be a vertical one. A chimney is vertical, but a chute is probably at an angle, say a 45-degree angle. Yeah, I would say a 45-degree angle that gives enough momentum for something of a reasonable weight to be carried down. Maybe not maybe a higher angle than that, because there has to be some element that it applies applies gravity, and then it must be designed to stop people just progressing any further. It's almost like a trap, isn't it? Okay, right. Well, we've basically got a chute. Let's just do a diagram here of what this chute is. It goes down 2 levels, And this has got us down to level 2. So I would have to start a new piece of paper for a start. So let's call this a chute. Now the question is, do the characters want to stay down here on a level 2? And I would say no, because that goes down 2 levels, and this would be level 2. Okay. Ooh, scary stuff. So let's say that they get down. Is there a chance that they have any risk of damage? You know, they're sliding down 60 feet. If it's not too great a gradient, they probably are going to have a bit of a clatter at the end. I would say that there's a chance that all of them have a potential for some kind of falling damage. I would say that there should at least be some. So let's go for 1d3 for each character. Yeah, I think that sounds fair, doesn't it? It's not going to be like just a straight drop. This is a slide. So they're sliding down, maybe uncontrollably. They're going to do that kind of whoa, and they're relying on their abilities. So let's say it's 1d6 of damage, unless they can roll their dexterity, and then it's 1d3. Or is maybe that too harsh? Say it's 1d. Let's say yeah, I've got a plan now. Let's say it's a chute, down 2 levels. It's 1d4 of damage, unless there's a dexterity check, and then it's only 1d2, say half damage. Okay, yes. Let's do that. So I'm sure there's not going to be any table that says what damage you get on a chute. I've never seen anything in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So let's go through by character. So we have Tristan. So we'll get a little post-it note, and we'll have Tristan. He's got a dexterity of 11. And Dagobert has a dexterity of 12. He's got a better dexterity than the thief. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible dexterity, really. And then Lindris, who is a bit of a star. He can jump across tables. He has a dexterity of 17. He's a bit of the Legolas, you know, makes it look very simple. Does that slidey thing coming down on the Mumakil and just jumps off and gives that kind of shake of his head to the side. So hopefully he's going to find this quite easy to avoid. So let's do our D20. Tristan, is he going to get a bit of a clobbering or not? He gets a 2, so he passes. Dagobert, he gets 12 or less. He passes. Good. And Lindris, he gets 7, and he passes. Now I'm thinking maybe we do 1d3 minus 1. So there is a chance that we come away unscathed, because all we do is slide, just slide down. Maybe a few cuts and grazes and a bit of shock. But because we've passed the test, I think that'd be a good reward. Whereas there's a certainty of damage, and maybe even serious damage. 4 is not very good for a first level character. So let's do 1d3 minus 1. So that would be a d6 divided by 2. So that's 2 minus 1. So Tristan takes 1. And then Dagobert, oh, he's taking quite a bit of damage. He takes 3 minus 1, that's 2. And Lindris, he takes no damage. So he skillfully slides down and then almost probably stands up when he gets to the bottom. He goes, that was fun. Any more rides for us to go on? This is like being in the Hobbit film, sliding around all over the place on the roller coaster. Okay, so that was quite exciting. Now we're left with the prospect that the characters are down on level 2. They have survived. We have to look at. Let's just do a quick inventory of their hit points. They are suffering damage now, apart from Lindris. So Lindris has a hit point of 5. Dagobert has a hit point of 4. Yeah, and he has taken 2, so Dagobert's only got 2 left. Lindris has taken 0, so he's okay. Yeah, and Tristan has taken another 1. So he's taken 4 damage and he's down to 5. So he's still got a good pool of hit points, but they are whittling away. I think let me have a think. What are the characters? What would the characters do here? Well, first of all, I think what we need to do is find out exactly where they are and what they're in. And I will start another page. Another piece of white paper. I've got a piece of white paper. Yes, I have. Yeah. So this will be level 2. So we'll call this level 2. And we've got a chute that has come down here. So we're going to have it here. So the characters emerge on this blank piece of paper down level 2. Find my ruler. Down the chute. Shouting, screaming away. That's a centimetre. This is the end of the chute as it comes onto the page. We appear in this other dimension, the level 2 dimension, on the chute. It goes upwards, upstairs, and we come into something. So I would say that is a periodic check, isn't it? Yeah, we could end up. Imagine we slide all the way down and there's a trap. And I would say that the gods are against the characters on this, but we've kind of got to do it because I can't think of any other way to rationalize what is going on. So let me just get my Dungeon Master's Guide out, and what we will do is a periodic check. And I'd have to start another periodic check thing up for level 2. So we've got 20 to play with on each one. So as you can see, if you start hopping around levels, it takes a lot to get through that 20. Because we've already demonstrated with level 1 that it's taken a while. So let's pray for something that isn't too severe. So our periodic check is going to be, oh, I don't believe it. it's a wandering monster. Check again immediately to see what lies ahead. So a direction. It's a wandering monster. What is going on today? And we don't even know what we've come down into. So it's got to be, well, at least that rules out that it's going to be a trap or anything. It's just, I'm saying, just a wandering monster. It's a level 2 wandering monster as well. Okay. I would say let's roll again and see exactly what they're in, whether they're in a room or a chamber or something. An 18. It's a dead end. How on earth? There's a dead end there. So does that mean that this wandering monster has just been sitting there waiting? That doesn't make sense, does it? It has to be. It has to be something. I'll have to roll again. 1. Continue straight. Check again. Right. So it's a 60-foot passage. Thank goodness. something. Well, something normal. And there's a monster, a wandering monster, wandering along this passage. Oh no! What could it be? What could it be? Let's just map that one out. Have a wee chance to take in. This is our first wandering monster as well, I think. Oh no, we had the Shrieker was if you can call that wandering. It was kind of it kind of shuffled around type thing, didn't it? With its bit like a Triffid. I've actually got that to read just now. I've got John Wyndham's Day of the Triffids. I like a bit of kind of 1960s, 70s apocalyptic science fiction. So I am looking at the time. We are approaching the witching hour, but I am quite happy to just do a quick roll on what this wandering monster is, so that we can be left on tenterhooks of what it is, and how we need to either we need to pray to Bane, or we say thank you, Bane, you've answered our prayers. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be required. Is it going to require divine intervention? That is the question. So we have a wandering monster. Now on second, third level, we roll a d20 again, and these monsters can go up to 5. So I don't know. Right, we just got to do it, haven't we? These things happen, don't they? And what was I talking in the other video about? Something about planning party succession. Now this we could be implementing a Party B revival. So let's have a look. So what do we get? Oh, 3. Oh. So I'm saying thank goodness, because that is a level 1 monster. However, remember on level 2, you basically double the number appearing. However, we do have our famous cap, so let's just see what we get, and then we can leave it there and mull over what our next states are going to be. So this is an important roll to see what type of monster we're talking about. Who knows, it could be the friendliest elves ever. You know, the elves and gnomes and things like that are on this. Who knows? We get, that's 16. Ooh, now, 16 is a dwarf. 4 to 14. Right. Well, that's a surprise, isn't it? Yeah. 4 to 14 dwarves. So let's have a quick look at the dwarf in the monster manual. Well, I think that, I'm not saying that this is gonna save us. They might be after something. Maybe they'll say, we quite fancy that sword of yours, elf. We can get you out of here if. It's all going to require a reaction roll. And so we can really get stuck in. This is the first chance we're going to be able to get stuck into a genuine monster, for want of a better term, reaction. And we can get that teed off right at the start for the next one. But they are hit dice 7. What's that? Is that a typo? Hit dice 7. That doesn't make sense, does it? I think that's a bit of a typo, isn't it? I'll just have a look at my original monster manual. I thought they would be like hit dice 1 or something. What's 7? Let's have a look and see what my... Is that a typo I've discovered? Is that a typo I see before me? Yeah, it is. I think what's happened is that 7 is just... It should be a 1. Naughty reprint. Can't get me going. I knew. So hit dice 1. Okay, yes. So good job. It's just not fair that it's really trying to throw me today. All these strange results. Okay, so they are 1 hit dice monsters. Now on second level, what was my formula for numbers appearing? Was it times 2? It was. So I could have a maximum of it was 6 for our characters because it was 2 times our levels, wasn't it? And on level 2 we add another 1, so that's going to be it would be like there was 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. So there can be a maximum of 9 dwarves that we come up against. Okay. Right, let's find out how many dwarves we're talking about, and then we'll call it a day for today. And then we've got something to think about, mull over, and get stuck straight into next time. So 4 to 14, 4 to 9. 4 to 14 would be 3 plus 1d10, wouldn't it? So let's do the original, 3 plus 1d10. So that would have been 3 plus 5, 8. So we're allowed, there's 8 dwarves. 8 dwarves. It's like Snow White and 8 dwarves come whistling along this corridor. Hi-ho. And we've just slid down this. Maybe they were in a room down here and they just heard us and started walking along, thinking, what's that? And, you know, who's coming down our chute? And it's an elf and a half elf and a cleric. Okay, great. I'm quite exhausted now. I've done 2 videos today. I think what I'll do is I'll call it a day. On that high note, it's not the end. It's not like eight goblins. This is 8 dwarves. We have a chance to reason with them, even if they take all our stuff and whatever. They're not going to skin us alive or anything unless they are evil, the awful evil dwarves, which is probably not going to be the case. So I think, you know, I think we're okay for the time being. It's going to be an interesting interaction. Who knows, we might even make some new friends, some new dwarf friends. They might be from a dwarf stronghold to the north, and we've suddenly discovered one of their scouting parties. The mind races. Okay, good. Well, this leaves me to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.